I'm sure you'll agree that when your house is on fire, it's not the best time to rewire it, even if poor wiring was the cause for this disaster. I guess it's time to call firefighters and deal with the wiring later if there is anything left to wire. Now imagine that you're calling 911, but instead of the crew rushing your way, you hear an automated message, something like, "Unfortunately, we don't have an emergency response system set up yet. We will do our best to organize it at some point in the future. Apologies for the inconvenience." Absurd, right? But this is actually how many of us live our lives, without any internal emergency system set up and shitty wiring. So when something short circuits, and it inevitably does, we have nothing to call for our aid and have to pay a dear price to not being prepared in advance. In today's video, I will share how building an internal emergency system will support you in time of crisis, regardless of what this crisis is. Hi, I'm Tamara, Master Health Coach, personal trainer, and fitness nutritionist. I help busy people to bridge the gap between the level of energy they want to have and what they have to deal with now, so their body and mind is up to speed with their goals, dreams, and the way they want to live their life. And now, let's get into building the systems that will spare us paying the top price when life throws its fits. Sometimes we have to overcome challenges that are outside of our normal routine. And these challenges can be both negative, like unexpected stress, illness, whatnot, or positive, like big projects or adventures. But regardless of the why, these experiences can put a high demand on our bodies and minds. And if we're not prepared, we will pay for it afterwards. Returning to a metaphor of a burning house from the beginning, there are two kinds of prep work that we can do. The first one is taking care of things that are within our control, like wiring. And second, maximizing our chances to deal with the stuff that is outside of our control, like having a functioning fire department with best equipment and well-trained staff. That's a thing. We don't typically wait for the fire to start in order to check our wiring, right? And the same goes for our bodies and minds. The right systems don't just protect us in crisis, they make the recovery possible. I have recently renovated my daughter's room, and even though it's a fun project that I planned ahead, it's definitely something outside of what I do on a daily basis. In short, it was a long week with 10-hour painting days, a whole lot of sanding, repetitive movements, neck craning, and other uncomfortable stuff. A lot of physical work. And after I was done with the job, one would expect that I was a complete wreck. But I was actually fine. Tired, yes, but nothing hurt. No back pain, no sore shoulders, no injuries. And here we come to the point of this video. My body was ready. Because on a regular Tuesday, when I'm not doing drywall, I'm strengthening my joints, building muscles around them so they move in a balanced and intentional way. And that's what allows me to handle out of the ordinary tasks like this renovation without throwing my back or injuring shoulders. And this isn't a one-off, right? Life constantly hands us this out of the ordinary, unexpected challenges. Sometimes fun, sometimes not so much. Renovations, snowstorms, lovely family trip to Disney when you have to haul a screaming child and a backpack full of snacks for a whole day long. Okay, end of bragging. Not everything went smoothly in my renovation. For example, at the end of the first painting day, I felt like total crap because I completely forgot to drink. My body was ready because I'd built this system over time, but my brain, it is still work in progress. As a newly diagnosed ADHDer, I have learned the word hyperfocus, added it to my vocabulary, but I haven't yet figured out how to actually manage it well. So the result was a pretty bad case of dehydration. So the next morning, I made sure that I had this ginormous water bottle set in the room that I was painting so I can see it and remember to drink. And also, it does have a straw, so I didn't need to pull my paint covered gloves off every time I needed a sip of water. And of course, the challenges we face are not always physical. It can be mental and emotional, like job loss, health crisis, a pandemic, you name it. So the question is, what systems can we build, both physically and mentally, so we're ready when life sends its surprises our way? Not perfectly ready, of course, but enough so we can weather it without that much damage. And then there are situations when there are no emergency systems in place, when the pressure is too high and we are not prepared and the structure isn't strong enough. We break. If the body breaks, it's injury or illness. If the mind breaks, it's burnout, anxiety, depression, or worse. I haven't always been as self-aware as I am now, and I still have a lot to learn. So let me tell you a different story when stuff didn't go as well. Back in 2020, during the pandemic, the pressure was too high. My mind broke. I overestimated my ability to handle everything. I kept pushing. No awareness, no pause. And the result? An eating disorder. Me, a certified nutrition professional, developed an eating disorder. That's the universe's sense of irony at its finest. But here's what I learned. Life will keep sending us lemons, whether it's a political upheaval, sudden illness in the family, loss, big change, relocation, job crisis. Parenting is another big thing, just constant stress. You have to buckle up and go, right? So it's coming, one way or another. And how well we are prepared will determine how much we're paying in the end. We can train our bodies and minds. We can gain better understanding of what systems we need to build in order to weather whatever life is throwing our way and come out the other end more or less intact, at least not beyond repair. What I do as a coach is I sit down with my clients and we brainstorm what systems need to be in place so not only they can be more free to choose what they want to do and enjoy life in full, but also be prepared for unexpected stuff that will inevitably come their way and emerge from the other end of it, maybe not untouched, but unbroken, better, repairable. I'd love to hear your stories. What systems do you already have in place or wish you had? Share in the comments and let's together brainstorm what can be done differently. The strongest people I know are not the ones who push through. They are the ones who build systems and carry them through the chaos. Next week, let's talk about all the details of building routines and habits that actually support you instead of stressing you out. See you then. Bye.